Behind the southern charm lies razor-blade smiles and hearts of darkness.
Monsters we are.
You know the rest of that sentiment and the reasoning behind it.
The truest lie ever sung.
It is not in seeking monstrousness that we stave off the monsters of our hearts and thoughts.
We are monsters dead, and truly so.
Yet our monstrousness is solely in seeking to live.
Seeking to be that most human of animals.
Monsters we are.
Monsters we are.
The better to embrace the truth of our dead humanity.
The Coast After Dark is a mature-themed Discord play by Post Server based in and exploring the V5 world of darkness in and around the Mississippi Gulf Coast region.
It has a small local population with over 14 million tourists that visit annually.
Roughly an hour's time is all that is needed to travel from end to end.
The geography and size of the region has created a unique power structure that is formally known as the Council of Twilight.
It is sometimes called the Pentarchy.
Sometimes affectionate.
Sometimes oozing with disdain.
Come explore and safely experience the darker parts of the sun-kissed landscape
and your imaginations.
This is The Coast After Dark, Magnolias, Moldering in the Midnight. This is our first of two-shot Hunter Chronicle, and I'm your host, your storyteller, and your number one fan, Nobody. Allow me to say thank you for taking this time to spend with us and live these characters' lives for a few moments, for a few hours. Play is phenomenally important. It helps us with so many different facets of our lives, and I'm very glad that you are here, and I hope that you all enjoy the tale that we will experience as much as I do. And without a shadow of a doubt, allow me to say that this is officially The Coast After Dark, Magnolias, Moldering in the Midnight. This is a one of two shot that will take place in Bay St. Louis on the coast. I'm not sure where everyone is in the world, but Bay St. Louis is the county seat of Hancock County. It is pretty much the Paris of the Mississippi coast. It is as far east as you can be in Hancock County. And as you all know, Hancock County is the farthest west you can be in Mississippi. Those two things don't quite jibe in the mind, trying to envision what that feels like for local Bay St. Louisians. But it puts them in a very interesting position. As large as they are locally, you could drive from one end of Bay St. Louis to the other in roughly 15 minutes, at least in most of the contiguous portions of it. There is a bridge that has won awards being rebuilt, the Bay Bridge, that stretches across the actual bay for which they're named. It goes from 90 as it cuts through Hancock County all the way across the bay and into what is Diamond Head. There's the other that stretches across the east and west portion of the 90 that goes from Bay St. Louis proper all the way over to Henderson Point. There's several ferries that take you from Bay St. Louis north into Diamond Head or across to Delisle. It is a picturesque city. There's two major attractions: Bay St. Louis Beach, the Betsy Ann Riverfront. There are several well-regarded mid to high range hotels that see an average of about 3 to 4 million tourists every year. The views from Bay St. Louis have been featured in movies, TV shows, and it's often a cheaper, more economical place to film for TV shows and movies and commercials that reference New Orleans. Their French original settlers left their mark on the area, even in the more suburban aspects of the area. down near Washington Street, where you see row after row of homes, which in a modern urban city such as Chicago, New York, Miami, Los Angeles would be right next to each other, built right on top of each other. But row after row in Bay St. Louis and most of Mississippi is a huge plot of land with a home, a garage, and maybe a shack or two on it. So while there is a huge number of people populating the area, there's space to grow, to get fat and wide, to enjoy the subtropical heat of the area. Because even during the winter, it's never cold enough to be considered actually cold anywhere else in the world. There's always a moist, humid aspect to the air. The dog days of summer leaves not just the canine companions, but the humans panting for relief. And so we pick up an average, no-named Monday night. There's a party of sorts. Several different businesses and facets of the community have gotten together at the Hollywood Casino and Resort on the Gulf Coast. They are all manner of churches, outreaches, historical societies who have gotten together for their small gala of sorts. The local Better Business Bureau, the local neighborhood associations are throwing a festival for getting the kids ready to go back to school. As a celebration that the storm season hasn't been as bad as it has the last few decades. You've all weathered the hurricane season and the rainy seasons. The sewers didn't flood. The neighborhoods weren't washed out. Nothing was blown away. There weren't even the many power failures that ravaged the coast. None of those even touched the area. For once, it's been a great year. And with that in mind, would you all, let's go alphabetically, and so that we are aware, the alphabetical would be Chia, Elijah, and Levi. Why are you at the gala? Why are you at the Hollywood Casino Resort taking part of this thankfulness ceremony, basically? Because all of these communities, all of these niche businesses and public civil servants who volunteer their time and their efforts are literally celebrating not being washed out, not being drowned out, not being blown away by the storms. And yes, the idea is getting the kids, both grade, high school, and college, ready to go back to school. The truth of the matter is there's a palpable release of a breath that everyone was holding during the stormy hurricane season, that they're finally exhaling. People are finally no longer looking toward the horizon line, expecting storm after storm to wash and send them flying from their homes, or worse yet, into their shelters.
Chia would be there because she has since graduated from college, so she is not worrying about going back to school. But her mother has been calling her and harassing her about spending so much time in the house and so introverted. Even after COVID and stuff, her mother is like, I'll never have grandbabies if you don't go out and find a man. So she begrudgingly decided to go to this thing.
Okay. Elijah is at the gala at an invitation of many of his Jewish business owner friends. Like, hey, it's going to be a good time. Some people are going to be there. It's good to get out of the library sometimes. Elijah agrees. He shouldn't be in the library all the time.
11.
Is this like a community thing?
It is.
Like, do you have to? Okay. I think Levi's there. I think like his wife think that he's there to just to celebrate like kids are finally out of the house. Like wait, I don't think he's old enough to have kids to go to college. But either way, school's gonna start. But he's there because his project, his digging project that's nearby is finally being permitted since the hurricane season has finally passed and they don't run any risk anymore. So, yeah.
Nice. So everyone's enjoying the evening. Everyone's having the opportunity of conversation that gets the imagination lit up, that you're able to take in the lights and the sound and just the feeling of thankfulness for having survived the season. It's one of those things that you don't really notice it, but every hurricane season, every rain season, every start of winter when things are at their worst, there is a tension in and around everyone. When the rains last longer than a half an hour to an hour, people start to get a little nervous. You notice that some grandmas and great aunts and some of your peers will begin making sure they have enough dry or shelf stable. You'll notice that people will do extra maintenance on generators and make sure that there's enough bedding and fire starters and all of those survival things that you take for granted. You see it everywhere. It's an all year thing. But when those potential storms start, when more of them are making landfall, there's a tension that builds up. And this is the release of that. So everyone's taking in all the oohs, the ahs, the extra free-flowing laughter. There are several people who are considerably more inebriated than they should be. Everyone's all but waving them off, whereas normally someone would complain. There'd be an angry word tossed or some shoving. And this, they're laughed with. They are taken as the court jester instead of an annoyance and a nuisance. You can see some of the casino security moving in and escorting one or another to either the triage area or to have a sit down for a nice long while. Even the casino staff is exhaling. So in the midst of this circus of people and moments had, how do you all end up in close proximity to each other?
Well, I am going to be one of those people who is enjoying the alcohol a little bit. Not enough to get myself drunk, but with the joints the way they are, I always enjoy an opportunity to put a little bit more pain suppressant into my system, so I sidle up to the bar fairly frequently. If I have sipped a... What is basically everything on tap here?
As far as beer, no. The casino serves, like I said, roughly 3 million people, 3 million tourists a year. So they have bottles from around the world. They have a slew of local breweries who bring their particular supply, but they are a fairly international in terms of the bottles and liquors that they actually have.
Okay. Let's go with would they happen to carry something like a Monoshevitz or?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. So I'm in the habit of refilling a glass of Monoshevitz. When it gets a little bit too low, I am sipping slowly, but I am constantly dosing.
Pain relief is a good thing. Chia, Levi.
Chia, realizing why she does not go out very often, would have made her way to the bar at some point. Still looking, still kind of glancing around to see who's here, who's not, who catches her eye and who don't. And then probably would see Elijah refilling his glass and give him a head nod up and raise her own little glass of whiskey with ice towards him.
Question. So, is there like a smoking area in here? Or that's gonna be like outdoor?
Both, actually. While it is frowned upon in certain areas, it is 100% accepted on the actual gaming floor to smoke at the machines or to smoke at the table, provided that you aren't just ashing on the floor or ashing on the table of the machine. So every 10 feet up and down the bar are those disposable gold painted tin paper ashtrays. There's a very thin patina of metal that's been painted gold, but the truth of the matter is they're just paper, and they're meant to be, instead of emptied, to simply be tossed away whole. So throw back to an older time that they're able to get away with, because technically entering into the casino, you're entering into a private business and establishment, so they can smoke inside. Most people are accustomed to the local laws elsewhere, and so they typically head outside and smoke by the valets. But those who can't wait and those who are willing to exploit the system realize that smoking is allowed inside. And you see 3 or 4 people gathered at the end of the bar, first nervously and furtively making sure that they are ready to be kicked out or asked to stop. But when the first person starts vaping and blowing these huge strawberry scented clouds, no one complains. Then the next person comes over with their unfiltered Kents, and someone has the nerve to be smoking a menthol Parliament with the recessed filter, and they're expecting any moment for security to pounce at the bartender, just yell at them, but no one does. And you can see that elation in their faces as they're able to have their cocktail inside, climate controlled, and exhale freely.
Okay, I really don't think Levi will drink. It's a Monday night. He's got work tomorrow. But he will order a drink, but he will smoke somewhere nearby.
That first puff, where you don't have to head out across the campus, around the corner to the one smoking area within range of the building, where you don't have to brave being pissed on by the sky, or worse yet, suntan because you forgot to properly swathe yourself in your SPF. Being able to take a deep puff and a drag of your smoke inside, it all but makes your toes curl. Now, what sort of cigarette do you smoke, Levi? Do you have a brand that you're loyal to, or you're a situational smoker, whatever you're able to get away with quietly?
Probably situational. His wife does not allow him to smoke.
Oh, yes. There is going to be hell to pay when she does the laundry and smells the smoke. You may be able to get away with it by saying you were just in the area where people were smoking. But, yeah, it's great. And that fear of what may happen, the conversation that needs to be had, begins running across his mind. And the reason why I asked how you all end up in the same area, because when people are exhaling and letting their guard down, sometimes inadvertently they allow the truth of themselves to slip out. Usually it's just an errant joke, or it's the cutting of the eyes when they say something that's completely ribald and beyond the pale. They let themselves and their guard down. They believe everyone is as they are. And that includes things that should not be perceived as normal. As you all are near the end of the bar, Chia toasting, raising her glass in toast to Elijah, and Levi taking that first beautiful long drag before he starts thinking about the wife and how to explain the scent of smoke. You all catch sight of him just outside the window. Everyone else is not paying all that much attention, but there was clearly someone standing there that could not move that fast, that is no longer standing there. There is the aching in Elijah's bones. There is the chill of Chia's entire being. Perhaps this whiskey was a little too strong. And there's the fact that Levi recognizes, or thinks he recognizes, the shape. There is a myth that Adam's first wife was cast out of the garden and ended up laying with fallen angels and fairies and giving birth to all manner of strange things. Seeing proof of it, even just fleeting, is well, it's a poke, and it's an annoying burr under your saddle. It's a sticking in the craw. And you all seem to be the only ones who caught a glimpse of it. Just something fleeting out of the corner of your eye, there once blink of a second and gone before that second had even elapsed time. But you all know what you saw.
What was that?
She is kind of looking at her glass, and then she looks to Elijah. Okay, so I wasn't imagining things then.
I didn't just see it, I felt it.
Yeah, there's some sort of problem going on. And she looks down, finally recognizing that it's Levi. Hey! Yeah. And she doesn't want to shout too much over things. Kind of sidles back over to them. You see that? Being outside.
I think Levi's like checking his cigarette package and see like this is actually cigarette, is nicotine he's smoking and not something else. And he's gonna look up to Chia and say, that weird blur that came through. Yeah,
I'm not too imagining seeing him seeing it too.
But as we look around, it looks like everybody else is completely oblivious.
Yes. If you're scanning the crowd, would you be so kind as to do me a favor and go ahead and roll your wits plus either performance or subterfuge.
Oh, okay. 3 dice. 3 dice it is. Okay, so I do this in live play dice?
Yes.
With the 10?
Well now, while you are sure that the vast bulk of the average person here did not notice anything awry, you instinctually, from all of the many debates and conversations in regards to the interpretation of one passage or another. You know when someone's bluffing. You know when someone's attempting to straw man a theory or to potentially set up a path of thought that's illogical for the point that they really want to make. In other words, you're accustomed to people being able to lie with the truth just well enough to deceive.
Mm-hmm.
That skill has very little use outside of the correct academic circles. But when it does, such as now, it pays dividends, because as you spot her, she is immediately on her cell phone. She's keeping her head down, talking in the sort of way that you would when relaying your condolences or when you're sending bad news, in a way to not disturb anyone else around you. She's dressed smartly, a two-piece business suit, the sort of thing that a mid-range civil servant or city government official might wear. Her bright light blue shirt underneath looking very much out of place because it's clearly expensive compared to the suit and most of what everyone else is wearing. And she clearly saw, or is attempting to not see, what you all just did.
Okay. Well, now I'm just curious about this particular individual, because she seems to be in the same category as us three that just happen to be all close together. And I will sidle on up and ask her, how are you doing?
What? Hey! I'm married. And she flashes her ring finger towards you, and ends the call as you draw closer.
Oh, I wasn't about to ask you out. I was wondering, how are you doing? How are you doing? You seem a little bit distracted.
Yeah, it's a lot of light. I'm not used to all of this. I'm not, who are you?
My name is Elijah. What's your name?
Well, Elijah, not interested normally works. Are you driving at something? Is there something that I can do to help you?
It seems like you might have noticed something outside the window, just like I did. I was wondering if you got a better view of it than I did.
Something out the window.
A flash of some person who moved really fast.
She puts her hand on your arm and almost immediately begins sliding so that she has the back of your arm and begins pulling you along as if you were some unruly child misbehaving in public. Just moving through the crowd away from where Chia and Levi are.
I think we should follow them. That's weird.
I don't know. I gotta go and kidnap him. You know, we gotta go catch. And then she.
I myself am, because this is rather unexpected. I myself am mentally preparing myself for the possibility I might have to show off that I use this cane more for just walking assistance. Just in case it turns out I will have to use it for more than just walking assistance. But I go along for the moment because I'm wondering who this person is and why she notices things and pretends to not notice them.
Like that conversations we could hear, right? Like the whole conversation between Elijah and that woman.
You can easily get the gist of it, yeah. Yes.
Like at any point in time, do I feel like that woman is lying?
Go ahead, roll with subterfuge. You need at least 2 successes.
Can somebody like add me to that channel because I really don't know which role.
Yeah, we do have a lot of sub channels on the server. Hang on 1 second. Let me just tag you. Where? There we go. Oh wait, yeah, you're playing Irving, right?
Yep.
And he's mortal, so you should have access to it. Let me just double check here. Let's a quick second. There you go.
Okay, that did not help. I just heard the noise. Too many things are open. Okay. Oh, okay. I think. Oh yeah, right here. All right, cool. So. That's 4. Cool. 3 successes?
Oh yeah, she is as legitimate as a $3 bill. There is something immediately that causes doubt. Is she even actually there? There are 2 times where that sort of person tells the truth. The moment they cry at birth, and well, that's it. And we're talking about that moment, but that sort of person is 100% solely focused on themselves. The image they put out to the world is fake. The idea of any sincerity from that sort of person is clearly fake. There is some deception going on there, even as they are accounting for any potential deception.
Okay. Yeah, I think something bad's gonna happen if we don't follow them.
We're not letting him get out of our faith then. But you have weapon, I don't have weapon.
So, keeping up with them, are you guys doing so openly, or you're attempting to utilize any bit of social stealth?
Did you just say social stealth?
Yes. I.e., they're moving across the floor with a purpose. She's moving further into the crowd and slightly off to the left. You all could barrel after them as quickly as possible, moving people aside, moving between conversations, stepping between people, clearly on a chase. Or you could use social stealth, meaning that you're excusing people, you're allowing the waitress or the servers to move past you, you're walking around groups of people gathered together in conversation, and you're doing so without causing any disarray.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I think it would be best if we were to take note of the direction she's heading in, but do a circuitous route around the bulk of the people so that we can maybe run into them as she gets to that other side of the room without having us be grabbed trying to push people out of the way.
This woman just gives me the feeling that she's not telling the truth, but she's not necessarily dangerous, is she? Sorry, that's for like the storyteller.
Oh, okay.
Instinctually, there's some paranoia there. People don't do that. And you know Elijah in passing, you know that if she takes off on a run, there's very little chance of him keeping up. The fact that she's able to manhandle him enough to lead him or drag him across the room, it sets off alarm bells. That's someone who's physically fit. That's someone who's, younger than him by at least a decade. There's someone there who could, if push came to shove, be excessively less than peaceful about their goals and their aim.
Excuse me, Miss Married, but where are you taking me?
Keep up, Father. We're almost there.
I wasn't aware I was related to you in any way, shape, or form. And I am deliberately raising my voice here.
So you're attempting to attract and draw attention to her leading you across the floor.
Yes. I'm also deliberately trying to slow our pace with my cane. Admittedly, it sounds like I'm being relatively unsuccessful with this.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll your just to attract attention doesn't require any effort at all. Everyone's already happy in their cup. Some people are even pointing, haha, look at who's getting lucky tonight, boy. Oh my god. And you hear something, oh my god, she's half his age. And you hear people noticing you all moving across the floor, but
misreading it, but okay.
As everyone is in their cups, the understanding of the average person is that this is a fandango that he's getting caught up in versus, oh my god, we gotta help that man, she's killing him.
Right. Okay. So what am I rolling?
You're going to be rolling your strength plus subterfuge because you're trying to purposely stall and slow down your pace across the floor without letting her know or making it so that it's your force versus hers directly. And while that roll is happening, Levi, Chia, okay, so she's slowed and may have an idea as to what you're doing, but there's nothing that's going to stop her just yet. And while that is happening, Levi and Elijah, as you all see others pointing and laughing and beginning to kind of take in the show of Elijah getting his adoration, getting his flowers while he's still here this side of the grave. Are you all doing anything besides closing the distance?
What are we going to do when we get there? We stand in front, or what we do?
I mean, like, so, like, basically, you are asking us if we just want to beeline towards them, which risking the woman noticing us as well, or we should just, like, try to go at a normal pace and hide from her. Is that the choice you want us to make?
Yes.
I mean, I mean, if Levi saw Elijah starting to like raise his voice and the cane, then he will try to beeline for them, which is not a good idea. But
Okay, so picking up the pace and moving that more directly versus circumspectly is what Levi is doing. Chia following suit or attempting something else?
I hate to split up the party because it never goes well. But
just in one room, though.
She's 5'2", so barreling through a crowd is not going to go well for her. She is going to attempt to cut them off at the pass by working around the crowd.
All right, so that being the case, you will need to roll your wits plus athletics, and being as Levi is putting on the gas, would you be so kind as go ahead and roll your resolve plus athletics as high as possible. You all, both of you all have a already +1 thanks to the efforts of Elijah to slow down him being manhandled and dragged across the floor. As everyone is taking it as a laughable, like, oh my god, look at the, oh my god, there you go, boy, go ahead, get it, yeah!
Question: is there willpower rerolls in this?
Yes.
I did not know that. I will hit reroll failures just to see if it helps. I have 2 successes, and I've burned a willpower. I don't know how much willpower I have, but I burned one.
You're perfectly fine.
Right. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm at 6. 6 willpower. All right.
Is it 2 success? Oh.
All right. That being the case, 2 and 1 and several things happen at once, as they tend to in this large gathering of bystanders, in this large gathering of people looking for a reason to let off the tension and steam and pressure that they've had leading up to tonight. First, the waiter drops a glasses. Thanks to Elijah slowing her steps, the waiter crosses at the wrong moment, bumping into him and her. The glasses hit the ground, and there's a growl of annoyance from her. Instead of a backhanded, "You crazy she is focused on continuing making herself free. Don't worry, we'll take care of it ourselves. She tosses off, and then she's tossing that off from Elijah and her left. Chia is moving around and moving into position to literally head them off at the pass, which is that door that leads into the employee section of the casino that they were heading towards. And the moment that that's happening, Levi is there. The glass from the drop drink and the waiter crouching to pick things up and her saying, "Don't worry about it, we'll take care of it." And there's no way to say it except for the jig is up. She understands that Elijah isn't by himself. There's a look from Chia to Levi to Elijah, and she lets him go. She drops her head for a second, frowning. It's clear that she's working out the odds, trying to figure out how to do whatever it is that she was attempting to do. Well, fuck. I guess there's no other way now. And she unbuttons her blazer and reaches into her breast pocket. She pulls it.
So she lets go of my arm to do this?
Yes.
Okay. I point at her with my cane. Like, cane to chest. Like, I'm trying to interrupt her action by, like I said, I was getting ready to, like, you know, use my cane as a weapon if need be. Like, this was on my mind. And so I'm going to try to put my cane to her chest and go, "What you up to?"
Levi, Chia, are you all doing anything as you see Elijah immediately move towards a lunge without lunging because of his aching joints to pin her hand in her breast pocket against her chest with his cane. Do you all simply watch?
So is the waiter like in between Levi and Elijah, just like on the floor picking up glasses right now?
Yeah, slightly to Levi's right, Levi and Elijah's right. Crowds as people, they of course when the glasses hit, they yelled out, "Oh!" And yeah, there's more than simple just inebriation. This is a beginning of a social storm where people will clearly go to excess. Many of them have already drunk to excess. Some of them perhaps with other substances besides what they drank. It is clear that there is a swelling up of need for wild, reckless, abandoned release in the crowd. It's only a few faces that are ruddier than normal. There's only a few people who are already slurring, but it is clear that as this gathering goes on, it will be the thing that people talk about afterwards.
Okay, Levi's gonna bet that woman will not put out a gun in the public when people are looking at them, so he gonna try to say wow, like really loud and try to draw people's attention and walk towards them and say, let's think about this for a second.
Chia?
And Chia is going to do her best to keep drunk but innocent people from getting too close.
Alright, that being the case, Elijah, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength plus melee?
Oh, strength plus melee. Okay.
Levi, would you be so kind as to roll your charisma plus athletics? It's an effective dodge. You're bringing everyone's attention there and keeping them focused to attempt to stop whatever you think may be the worst thing happening. Hopefully she's not going to pull out a gun, but we shall see. And Chia, attempting to keep the crowd back and keep them free of the situation again is a effective dodge. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your manipulation plus athletics? Roll as high as you possibly can.
I got 2 days. What am I supposed to do with that?
Everything you can.
Willpower reroll?
So that's a grand total of the group effort of 4, which exceeds what we're actually aiming for. You all prevent her from withdrawing what she was reaching for as the cane hits her chest, and as she is, oh, everybody y'all get back now, this ain't, and people are pointing and laughing, and Levi is drawing more attention to the area, keeping them wary, like, what the fuck is going on? They can't believe you all don't want to be doing this right here, right now. I didn't want to, and now you guys are having second thoughts, which is good, but it's too late for anything except for this to happen. She takes her left hand and places it on the cane and pushes it back just enough to free her right from the pocket. And as she pulls her hand out, she opens the badge that's there. My name is Amanda Carver. I'm with Homeland Security. You three are remanded to my custody as of right now. Now we can do this the easy way, or you all can do the upstanding citizens way and come with me now.
I don't believe her. Without rolling, I don't believe her, just based on the treatment that I've gotten thus far. Like, she didn't radio for help. I didn't see anybody else like her in the building. Like, these guys don't operate solo. At least not to my understanding. Not that I'm an expert. But okay. I guess, can I take am I able to take a quick look at the badge and see if it, like, passes any sort of muster whatsoever, or if it looks like junk?
Not at all. He hasn't dealt with Homeland Security, Border Patrol, or any other national agency. He's been on above board. He's a good, upstanding citizen. It could be 100% fake or 100% real. Everything he knows about federal agencies, he's learned on TV and from reading books.
And of course, she's flashing it. She's not, like, giving me a moment to give it any sort of analysis. Okay. I still don't believe her. So... on what charge? I'm going to say that. On what charge?
Okay, you're saying on what charge, Levi? What are you saying?
Sorry, go ahead.
So Elijah's challenging her, saying on what charge? What is Levi and Chia doing when the badge comes free and it's well made, almost tactically stitched together badge and credential folio?
So can Levi try to see if her initial intention was to pull out a badge, or she was trying to pull out something else?
Yes, you can, if you like. Gauging intentions. You're gonna need to roll your wits plus subterfuge or insight to see if what she's doing matches what you felt her intentions were previously.
Okay, that will be a 4. 2 success.
She didn't want to, but it is an authentic reaction. She is authentic in what she was attempting to do. She didn't want to.
Okay. With Chia's time in the dark web and data analytic sort of situations, would she be more familiar with the type of badges there are that law enforcement might carry?
If it was BSL PD, maybe even Hancock County Sheriffs, yes. Unfortunately, with it being a federal organization with a very wide largesse, no.
He kind of looks at the lady. Am I a call lawyer? No. Because I'm not going for arresting.
She lowers her badge as more people are closing in. Wait, and they're getting the inclination that things weren't as friendly and fun and lively as they were hoping. There is a doubt creeping in around the edges. Look, you're not under arrest unless, of course, you need to. At which point, I have to shut this whole damn thing down. Now, are you all going to be upstanding citizens and come, or do we need to make this worse? And no, I don't need to arrest you, to hold you, to detain you for the next 30 days if I want.
So you're saying I ask you a question and you're going to lump me under a terrorism statute? I am a lawyer. Have some knowledge about this.
Yes.
You heard it here first, everyone. I ask a young lady an innocent question and she calls me a terrorist. This is the way your government operates, folks.
All right. Go ahead and roll that manipulation. And you're attempting to sway the crowd. So, your manipulation and leadership, or your manipulation and persuasion.
Boy, am I burning through my willpower pretty quickly tonight. 2.
Two-thirds of a success is better than no success at all, save in this particular instance because unfortunately where the cultural zeitgeist is, you are being escorted by a lovely young lady, and now there's the appeal towards the First and Fourth Amendment debunkers, those who record police stations, those who cause all sorts of issues with the law and order that keeps the city running. Bay St. Louis is a quiet place. We are all law abiding. No one does that sorts of things in our small town. And didn't she have a badge? She did. Didn't she say something about game and wildlife or something? No, maybe she a park chef. Why y'all giving her a hard time? Hey, darling, who we need to help? And it starts, and it's peeking around the edges again. The sort of foolish bravery that comes from being properly liquored up, from being caught in a moment of excess. As the attention already raised begins to escalate, and you begin to see rumors and whispers and one or two phones coming out, others fumbling and screwing around and accidentally hitting the flashlight on their phones. You see them beginning to dot the landscape around you all, as some of them are being raised, some of them are chest height, some of them are being held by their pocket as if they're being surreptitious about recording the incident.
Chia kind of rolls her eyes because she knows how quickly this can go horribly wrong, especially in a small town, and she does not want news to get back to her mother that she was arrested on World Star. So she looks at the other two. I'm gonna have to give benefit of the doubt and maybe go with her and see what is going on. I'm still gonna keep in mind, if there is a problem, you're my lawyer, alright, the Elijah.
Levi is gonna send out a quick text. It's gonna to his like the retainer co-partner. I'm gonna name this guy as Lucas. He's the secretary. He's gonna text his secretary and says, encountered some problem in what is it? Hollywood Casino Resort. Might be late. Tell my wife I'll be fine. But like he's basically telling him like the things that's happening. And is Amanda still like flashing his police badge? No, like the federal badge.
No, she has it closed. She's literally pointing with it closed in her index finger and thumb, pointing towards the employee door. This way, please. Look, fuck. There's no reason for anyone to be upset. It's alright, it's fine, it's just a little questioning, that's all. No one's threatening or arresting, of course, they don't cooperate. No one's threatening any of their civil liberties unless, of course, they choose not to cooperate. These people are witnesses potentially to a crime that can affect each and every last one of us, but they want to be resistant. We're just trying to handle this. It'll be nice and quiet. People start frowning up. The more that she's explaining, the less it's seeming like anything where they could get awards or kudos for being heroes. And it's less likely that anything untoward is actually going to happen. People are losing interest because it's not something huge and exciting. The crowd is, of course, very, very fickle and chasing the endorphin, the high.
Well, when you put it that way, you said it's for like a crime investigation. Why don't you say so like in the beginning? Because we all just thought like you want to question us.
All right. I will represent you if the case may be. All right. I'll hear your questions. Let's go.
Levi followed them. Yeah. He's inclined to talk to this woman.
As you all leave amid the flashes going off and people putting away their phone, a few people snapping one or two more last pictures from their video rolls. The doors closing behind you sounds and feels very much as a before and an after. There is a coolness in these little employee tunnels between the various restaurants, clubs, and banquet halls here in the Hollywood Casino building. This area here, there's a small bit of an echo to your steps. The overhead lights are glaring and bright enough that it would immediately sober up the drunkest of partier. The sort of place where you've all seen movies that start with bright, disorienting lights. This is that sort of place. There are, of course, dust devils running around the floor, the corners of the floor, and at the edges of the hall, roughly about 150 feet from where you're currently standing, there's shadow as the light gets less and less the farther away it is. The moment the doors close, she pinches the bridge of her nose and exhales as if she's under the most grating of weights. I didn't expect all three of you all to be together. I thought it was just this lech. Look, whatever it is that you all thought you saw tonight, you didn't. I'm telling you this for your benefit and your families. Whatever you all think you saw, you did not. You will not raise an issue with anyone you know. Are we clear?
Oh. Okay, so we keep this to ourselves. That's it. You're on top of this.
It. There's nothing else. There's no talking about whatever it is you thought you saw. You didn't. It's something in your drink. It was a figment of the imagination. You will go home and you will forget this. Whatever this you thought it was. If you cannot do that, you have to tell me now.
Chia's curiosity is burning in the back of her head, and she's kind of squinting at the lady, trying to figure out whether she should lie and say she can forget, or just tell her outright, hell no.
Well, I can say quite truthfully I don't know exactly what I saw. I can say quite truthfully that I was told that you were going to handle it. I believe that is good enough, yes?
Oh, God. I'm gonna need your name and your address.
I didn't figure out an address, but okay, Elijah Abrams.
She pulls out a honest to goodness. Instead of like most people when they say they're gonna need something, they're gonna be taking down something. Instead of opening up a notes app or anything on her phone, she pulls out an honest to goodness pen and notebook. Elijah Aberson. What's your name, ma'am?
I'm a Chiasoka.
Like the Jedi?
Does it? I heard every joke there is out there now, man. But, yeah, kind of like my parents was weird about where they got their names from. But it is also a good house name. Chiasoka Hecho.
Oh. And you, sir?
Marcos Nelson. He's gonna attempt to give her like a fake name.
Listen, go ahead, roll charisma and subterfuge.
Okay. Surprisingly okay with this. Okay. 5. 2 successes.
All right. She writes down Marcus Nielsen, and she looks at you and squints. Marcus Nielsen. Is that with IE or EI?
No, NALSON.
And that was 2 L's, right?
Just one. That's how my family always spelled it.
Okay. Marcus, Chiasoka, Elijah. And your addresses?
I don't lie about it. I don't know what my address is, but I don't lie about it.
Same. I didn't pick an address, but Chia would give her actual address.
Okay, since he has already lied about the name, so God, this is a terrible place. Okay, can he just give her like a address from the university, like a housing area that like sounds like a legit address?
Yeah, of course.
To her. Okay. Yeah.
She looks, make sure that she has everything spelled as correctly as she can. And it's clear that she is fighting a battle with herself. And you're not sure which version of her won, but whatever version of her that won, that internal pushing and shoving that was happening as she was jotting things down, she looks at each of you, placing away her notebook and her pen, and pulls out a card carrier. pulls out a card, then another. And she looks at Levi, sighs, and pulls out another before placing it back into her left outside hip pocket. She extends the 3 cards that she's offering playing cards to each of you. If anything comes to your mind and it seems out of the ordinary, make sure you call me.
All right.
Okay, so this is a change as opposed to... Okay, so...
For your sake, I hope you never need to call me. Because perfectly honest, if and when you call me, because you can't keep your mouth shut, because you can't forget this, it's probably going to be too late for those that you care about. I will make sure that you all get an honorable burial. You all should probably leave the party before things get worse for you. There's an exit out to the parking structure, that first right down that hall.
Chia kind of gives her a little bit of a side eye, like the whole life-threatening thing does not go over well, but fine. I'm
gonna try to read her sincerity in this moment.
Yeah, me too.
That would be what?
Viewing her actual intentions or whether she's being honest, that would be your wits plus subterfuge or your wits plus insight.
Okay. One success.
Okay.
I'm gonna re-roll this one because that's yeah. Sheesh, only 2? Wow.
There are certain things that you know are facts. Certain facets of the world that would hold up as true no matter which way you slice it. Facts, fundamental understanding. You know for a fact that the Earth spins around the sun and it moves in more of an elliptical orbit. You know that eventually the sun will cease to shine its light and will form a black hole and swallow the entirety of the Milky Way into itself. And with that same understanding of facts that are incontrovertible, you are sure that she means every bit of every word that she's just said.
Got it.
There's something unnerving about the surety and confidence in such a statement. It's a threat, but there's no intentions of being the catalyst for that threat. It's almost as someone saying, you know, the sun's going to come up on Friday. Well, of course the sun's going to come up on Friday. It comes up holy crap, it comes up every day. So how many other instances has she issued that warning or offered that insight that others didn't heed? Often enough to be able to pinpoint that. She shakes her head and turns and heads back towards the party doors. It's getting late. Y'all should probably get out of here as quickly as you can, while you can.
Sorry for the misunderstanding. Thank you.
Good luck. You're gonna need it. And she steps into the door and it slams closed with the finality of a jail cell, as if this is who you are now. You all have life with no chance of parole. Standing in the well-lit, slightly cool, employee-only access tunnel, what do you all do?
It might behoove us to also be in contact with each other, just in case. Let's walk toward cars, but just in case, we might need to make sure we can get a hold of each other.
Agreed. And she will hold out her hand for Elijah's phone. I'm gonna put my number in your phone and your number in my phone.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Let's try to walk to our cars first. Once they're like out of earshot of Amanda, Levi's gonna say, name is not actually Marcus, by the way. It's Levi. And he's gonna give them his number.
As you all exit the tunnel into the parking structure, there is a true fact that even in its coldest moments, Mississippi isn't ever truly cold. It never drops significantly below freezing. It never gets to the frigid climes of everywhere else north. The area is 100% subtropical. Outside of the rains and the storms, it is a beautiful piece of land all year round. And even that, watching the fury of nature undo civilization whenever it decides, is a feeling that places you all somewhat closer to seeing the true power of God or the creator spirit. There is something awe-inspiring about watching nature wreak havoc. And worse, having been in and around the area, being victim to nature wreaking havoc on civilization. It leaves you with a certain understanding of no matter what happens, you have to end up for yourself, your home, your family. You have to rebuild no matter the setbacks. You have to be tougher than everything the world will throw at you. And the world will throw everything at you, including the ocean from time to time. So as you all exit out of the resort, as you exit out of the casino towards your cars, pondering the exchange you've had with the agent, you're not too surprised. You're not jumping out of your skin, as there's a lone gentleman sitting, shaking his head like, I shouldn't have said shit. Fuck me. Why did I? And he looks up, stops talking to himself as you all exit out of the doors from the casino. He doesn't bother to even stand up or greet you all. He just sets his eyes on you, watching as you all move separately out of the door together, all three of you. You know that intuition that lets you know that you're in danger? That's what each of you are feeling. It's not a jump scare. There's no immediate burst of shock and fright. There's the creeping dread that you all are currently in danger. You are currently on borrowed time.
Hey, let's stick together. Whose car is closest?
Question about the lone gentleman that's like kind of speaking to himself and staring at all three of us. Do we have to walk like past him?
Yes, you three have to cross his path and move further out into the parking structure to find your cars.
Okay, like if we have to go past him, Levi will try to suppress his like internal anxiety and horror and the feeling of being preyed on, and he's gonna try to like smile at him. But in reality, trying to study his face.
All right, Levi. Excellent. Would you be so kind as to roll your wits plus awareness?
Oh, great. Wiz is 1 and awareness is 0. Why did I do this? I'm burning willpower. Still no. Nope. Just a plain failure.
And that's the part that sucks for Levi.
I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that Chia, being both compact and a female in most situations, would be aware of how to kind of, minimize risk. So she would have parked the closest to the building that she could manage, and would probably be the closest car. And make mention of that to the others, and definitely say, we should not split up, but definitely take my car if you want.
Yeah, my thought was that we'd all get driven to our cars and then possibly even convoy out of here.
It'll work for me. And then she will reach for her keys in her purse. And she has one of those, self-defense keychains with the fluffy thing and the taser and window breaker, all that stuff, all coordinated in the same color.
So, go on.
Sorry. Oh wait. So nothing really happens for Levi? He didn't see anything? Like,
Nope. Get into that in a second.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I did not forget. So as Chia is jangling keys and getting things situated as you all are moving together and roughly in tandem, and Levi smiles and Elijah offers a bit of tactical wariness, and Levi realizes that as he stares at the lone madman staring at the three of them, that his vision is a little fuzzy. He realizes that there's a sweating of the mind going on, as if the details of that person's face defies being carved into his memory. He's of average height, of average weight. He's short, he's tall, he's fat. His features are angular and sharp and soft and pudgy. There is a sameness and a difference to everything and every other face that he's experienced. And it feels as if there are worms crawling behind his eyes as he tries to smile, and is instead met with a blank stare. Levi remembers the color of his eyes. A beautiful warm caramel that looks as if it was melting and ooey gooey and delicious to drink down forever. Looking into those light brown eyes feels as if he's swimming in a sea of sugary sweetness. So much so that he almost loses his step.
but is he able to pull himself away and just keep walking, or is he just start walking towards the lone man now?
No, he's still walking with his associates, but that is the feeling that's sticking to him. Did he actually accidentally drink something by accident tonight? That clearly is what it was. Maybe someone was smoking something and he's got a contact high inside. Maybe it's just the adrenaline from the agent telling them that they are all going to die. The stress can do all sorts of wondrous things to the mind.
Yeah, Levi's gonna wipe the sweat off his forehead with his sleeve or something. But weird, but he keep on walking.
Hollywood is, again, the Bay St. Louis sees about 3 million people and 3 million tourists a year. It is one of the safer places in the city. Let's just call it what it is. Because while small, as far as such things go, it is still the county seat. So it has its share of crime. It's not as bad as Darbyville or Pascagoula, but it has its share of people. It's not hustling and bustling like Biloxi or Gulfport. But there are all manner of people. And because of that, the Hollywood Casino, the parking is rather Byzantine. Close is a relative term that they are not in any sort of talking relationship with. Close is a 16th of a mile. Close means that you all are, well, walking for about 4 to 12 minutes. What sort of vehicle does Chia have?
A 2021 Kia Soul in a dark green with a black interior.
Nice. It's a nice little compact-ish vehicle. It's the sort of vehicle that gets the compact spaces in the parking. There are only so many of those spaces in every parking structure, partially just to say that they have them, and partially because most people don't ever really pay attention to where they're parking. So there are certain of the 46 such parking spaces in the garage, in the parking structure. Most of them are filled with SUVs or full-size luxury sedans, not the compact vehicles that are supposed to park there. But it is what it is. And while a 16th of a mile is not all that much in the grand scheme of things, it is a lot when even inside the parking structure. The coolness you all felt in that tunnel is sticking to you. Causes the heat and steam to rise up and off of your skin into the night sky. Causes the echoes of your footfall to sound like there are others in your shadow, as if there's folks, entities, beings walking behind you all. And every time you all glance over your shoulder or see yourself walking past one of the mirrors at each of the corners, you realize that you all are alone. Yet there very much feels as if there's footfalls in your background. It very much feels as if you all are being tracked and trailed.
Yeah, I mentioned to the other two. Ever since she said if me die, I feel like watch somebody walk over my grave. You know, feel it way.
Wait, I'm sorry. I think I misheard that.
She basically asked, ever since the lady said something about us dying, did you not feel like it feels like somebody's walked over my grave? Are you not feeling that way?
Well,
Yeah,
that
I feel the sense of unease also, but let's focus on getting out of here.
well, that lady meant and everything that she said, but I mean, it is the government who's training them, so I don't know.
I tell Chia that I'm driving a beat up Ford F-150 2008. Seen a lot, been through a lot of repairs, but I'm a little bit of a cheapskate.
I'm gonna judge you. If it run, it run. But let me get in the car first, and then me take you to your car.
Yes, of course.
Is it really just the feeling though that that we're being stalked, or is it actually something following us?
How would you determine that?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Looking around. Is it well lit, or is it just like dark?
It's well lit in spots and spaces, and the brief portions of bright, easy light get further and farther apart. While there's 3 million tourists that go through the area, most of them use Uber, Lyft, and taxis. Most of the parking and the parking structure are for the employees of the building and those who are locals. They don't really care so much about the local money because it doesn't really do much. It doesn't circulate into their pockets as quickly. The money's with the tourists, and with the tourists not really using much of the storage facility, the parking facilities is not the first thought in the casino's mind. So, as you all move further and closer to Chia's car, it gets darker and darker. It gets further and further apart from those brief, bright, super well-lit spaces. And here's the thing, Chia parked only half a ramp up from the first floor where you all exited out of, and that's a 16th of a mile. She parked as close as she could. Same can't be said for, unfortunately, Elijah, who's 2 floors up. Same can't be said for Levi, who's 3 floors and an eighth of a distance farther away than Elijah. Doesn't seem like much at all in the grand scheme of things, and it's not. But you've all heard, and each of you all are wary, and you stay abreast of the current events that are happening in and around Bay St. Louis. Just as little as last week, the governor himself got on national TV and promised more police protection. Promised to, if things didn't settle down, they couldn't find the perpetrators behind many of the missing persons over the last few months, that they would call in the National Guard. They would declare a state of emergency. Just as little as last week, there was a blackout that blocked out most of Harrison County. Just as little as 2 months ago, there was a manhunt that had nearly the entirety of Harrison, Hancock, and Jackson County sheriffs, as well as local police department, all through the swamp, all through the bayou, all through the major thoroughfares. There were checkpoints every eighth of a mile, every half a mile, with county sheriffs or local police There were the sounds of sirens long into the night. And while things have settled some, while there's not as immediate of a large police presence, being alone definitely dredges up imagery of being someone else's victim.
If it's dark, all the smartphones has the function to like as a flashlight nowadays. Levi's gonna try to do that. Like, no matter how small that is, like how small light that is, but
just like the covers that have held and protected every child and many adults that have grown fearful of the dark. That little bit of light makes all the difference in the world, because the shadows, while they get darker and they seem to move as if they have a life of their own, that beam of light from your phone is chef's kiss. It provides you with the idea of a sword to cleave away the darkness out of your path. It creates the opportunity of there being additional light to help you find your way forward. Yes, it makes the shadows move and writhe and crawl along the ceilings and slither along the ground behind you, but that light makes all the difference in the world, because if you can see where you're going, you can hopefully reach your destination.
This might be a strange question, but with Chia's penchant for anthropology and like stories and like cultural things, especially even those from her own cultures, would there be something in this that not necessarily is occult or supernatural, but like, you know how there's like chupacabra and stuff, like would that trigger something in her head, like the shadows are moving, like something that reminds me of something when I was a kid?
There are hundreds of wives' tales about the dark and what it does. There are myths and fables in every tongue about the inherent will and want of the dark and those things that can control them. There are gods and demigods and angels and demons and beings of both and neither that exist there in the dark. Hell, at the beginning, there was darkness.
Even though she hasn't been to church since she was a kid, she kind of catches herself crossing herself. And then like, this dark is too much. I'm gonna have to get out of here quick.
Oh, not before you end up, driving round in circles to get everyone else to their vehicle. And leaving yourself alone in the dark as you all, separately make your way into your vehicles.
Well, I suggested a convoy, so when I get in my car, I shouldn't call a 2008 Ford F-150 just a car. I immediately join. I'm following Chia so that she's not alone.
So Elijah is
I'm not heading towards the exit. I'm making sure we're sticking together until we're sticking together while we're around the casino.
okay. So just so that we have a clear path of action in terms of, as with Chia crossing herself, with Levi shining his light to keep you all having a golden path to stick through, to have a yellow brick road to get to Chia's vehicle. As she triggers the alarm and gets everyone inside, you are insisting that she drives further into the parking structure to you and Levi's vehicle. So that
I'm keeping my hand on my piece, which is a Browning high power P35. Hoping I don't have to use it.
Okay. So,
until I get to my car, obviously.
So getting to Chia's car, what is the conversation as to what you all are doing? Because the closing of the doors provides you all with that calm silence of a vehicle, a small metal bit of shielding against the dark outside. Gives you the opportunity to enunciate and communicate what your goals and intentions are in this moment. Because there's a silence that comes from sitting in a car that is not on. The sweltering heat of the world dissipating. The cloying stickiness of that fear that crawled along your skin, causing your knuckles to grow white on the butt of your gun. That caused Levi to use the flashlight to light your way here. That caused Chia to enact the sign of the crucifix to ward away all of that crawling, seething darkness. What are you all communicating? Speaking as Levi, Elijah, and Chia.
So I suppose the Levi's hand will be shaking, so you guys will see that the light has been shaking a bit. But once they get into the cart, all the at least like modern vehicles, they don't need to be turned on to turn on the light that's in the passengers, like the middle light, right? That you just like click it and it will be turned on. You don't have to turn on the engine.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Then he's gonna do that, and he's gonna say, "Whew. Well, who's parked the next? Like, is it you, Elijah? You said 2 blocks, something like that."
On the second level.
All right. He's trying to play it cool, but his legs are shaking.
I don't know how I feel bad. Like if we got separate, we got get hurt. Maybe we need to pick a place to all go, and we leave a car here till tomorrow and come back and get it, but stay in this car for now, and just leave, and then come back tomorrow morning.
No, saying it's safer in the day? It might be. It's less dark in the daylight. Even inside the parking structure, in daylight, you got the light from outside coming. I don't feel good about this darkness. Okay. I don't have kids. Empty nesting, they're all out of the house now. I've got a library, got some... Yeah, I got a library, I got a safe house. So... there's enough space there for all three of us to crash. If you want to do that, I'm willing to offer. The last thing I want you to do is feel like you're going someplace on your own and unsafe. I think it's very clear at this point we all need to stick very much so together.
Alright, if you feel like that, I will go with that. My apartment not big enough for our three. Your place big, me go.
Okay, just grab some things. That makes sense. Levi, do you want to grab anything?
This is gonna be a lot of questions if I just bring all of you guys to my place, and I have a family, like, and also, like, if there's something that's stalking us, I feel like that would be more dangerous if you just drive to people's houses. I mean, oh gosh. Let me make a phone call. I'm not going back to my place. I mean, your safe house sounds like a good idea.
Okay, let's do it.
In a point, you don't want it, whatever it is, to be following you back to your people.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last sentence that you just said.
You don't want whatever it is to be following you back to your people. I understand. You keep your family safe.
Okay. So Levi's gonna actually call his secretary now, Lucas. You don't have to roleplay this with me, but I will leave you to it.
So your phone rings through, and as per usual at this time, you already know what Lucas is doing. He's halfway through whatever session of game or movie he was watching, and as is usual around this time, there is snackage. There's mass quantities of snackage. Hey, why you calling? I sent the text. You didn't get the confirmation?
Is a very long story, but I am in a bit of a pickle, and could you pick up my Jeep at the Hollywood casino? Like, you don't have to do it tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, but I might have to go to work by a Lyft or something.
No shit. We gotta sell the Fox tomorrow. You still got a meeting with Josh. I even made an excuse. I even made the excuse with the wife for you.
Yeah, about that. I might not able to go back to home tonight. Do you think you can cover for me for that as well?
To sell the Fox?
No, for not able to be home tonight.
Hang on, stop. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you're good. The kid, that is appointment ain't until Wednesday, so yeah, no, I got you. I'll figure it out.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Lucas. Lifesaver.
Yeah, sure thing, boss. Hey, nah, don't worry about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow with the Fox. Anything else, boss?
Nope, that's all. Thank you.
The exchange was, as you expected, a bunch of Yes, of course, and he's going to help. There's something reaffirming about having someone you can count on. Someone that's going to get your back no matter what. No questions asked. No beating around the bush. Just a sure thing. I'll do whatever I can. How you got so lucky and how that ended up happening is anyone's guess. But the one thing you know for sure is that when he covers for you, somehow the wife isn't as angry when you give her an excuse.
Okay.
Having listened to that conversation, well, that half of the conversation, in the dark out there getting, well, doing strange things at the peripheral of your vision. A wisp here, a slight undulation there. Did that pole move? It looked like the shadow shifted behind it. It's impossible, but that's what it looked like. That's what it feels like. What do you all do?
She is going to start the car because she knows her headlights are bright.
I know this sounds silly, but yeah, can you turn on the high beams? Make sure it's extra bright in here.
All right. So between the three of you all, I just need a accounting of how many dots of wits do you all have?
I got 3.
3 here as well.
It is a 1.
All right. Okay, so Levi, you don't see it. There's not. It's just darkness, and then the high beams go on, and the darkness recedes quite naturally. That's what it's supposed to do. High beams make the dark farther and farther away. You can see more into it, even in a parking structure such as this. There's ambient light from the center of the beam, and it's great. It's wonderful. It's less dark overall when the high beams go on, when the car starts up. Same can't be said for Chia and Elijah. When the car starts and the lights flicker on, and then Chia hits the high beams to produce more light, seeing something out of the corner of your eye, that's quite natural. People see floaters and fuzzers and ghosts and deceased grandmothers all the time out of the corner of their eye. Then you turn towards and you realize it's a pile of clothes, or you look directly in that direction and the flutters and floaters in your eye, you realize that they're just flutters and floaters in your eye. There's nothing really there in the periphery of your vision. As Levi is ending the call with Lucas and the lights go on, the car starts up, and the darkness flees from the light, you both realize that the darkness didn't just dissipate as it normally does. The darkest shadows beneath the car directly at 1 o'clock from where Chia's car is slides along the ground further and further away. The shadows to roughly the 11 o'clock under the car, the SUV there, move away. The darkness underneath those cars and at the rear of those vehicles is darker than every other bit of shadow present. And shadows don't slide if nothing is moving. There's nothing flying over, there's no one moving, there's nothing crawling on the floor. It is dark enough that it seems to absorb the light as it scuttles and scurries wider and wider away. And it could have been just a trick of the light. It could have just been a reflection. But you know that wasn't it.
Yeah, I'm pulling out my phone and calling the agent. I'm letting her know something's up right now. I'm going to detail what just happened in extraordinary detail.
What is this?
The shadow not to move like that normally. What the hell?
You're right. I'm letting the agent know that the shadows are behaving funky in the parking garage.
This is the mate.
Talking about.
This is Agent Amanda Carb. Field Office 17, Biloxi, Mississippi. Please leave your name, number, and a time where your call can be returned.
This is Elijah. We just spoke. The shadows in the parking garage are behaving funny around high beams. I'm just letting you know, the shadows in the parking garage are behaving funny around high beams. They're not moving quickly away, they are sliding away slowly. Thought you should know. Thanks. Click.
And with that, Chia is putting her fucking car into gear and throwing it in reverse.
Yeah. The idea GTFO sounds real good here too.
You all are roughly a mile from the casino before you all began to slowly shake off. And it's only a superficial adjustment. The drive of making the distance of a mile is roughly 2 minutes, give or take. At 2 minutes from the parking structure, at 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, the lights from the Hollywood Casino are in your rear view. The lights from the strip and the bay are far enough away that you all can speak and operate calmly. You all are roughly another 7 minutes from Elijah's residence.
I have no clue what the fuck that was.
Okay. I think my blood pressure just lowered by about a good 10. How are you doing, Levi?
So, like, we're driving on the street now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm fine. Yep. I don't know. Did you just say the shadow was weird?
Oh, yes. She turned on high beams and it didn't look like she turned on regular beams. It looked like she turned on some light show for like a Disney thing. With how slowly the light was moving across the ground.
I mean, I was sitting in the back seat, so I didn't see anything, but...
Alright, well, she and I both saw it. That's why I made the phone call.
Okay, do they both smell like alcohol? He's not gonna say this out loud, but he's kind of doubting you guys, but not gonna say anything.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, the one thing about alcohol is that all it takes is it's a little bit of a contact. Even a 1 ounce shot takes, an hour to leave the system. But in that time, you're still affected by it. And yeah, the one who was drinking the strongest liquor is actually the driver.
Mm-hmm. Although she didn't finish her shot. Right? She only ordered one and she didn't finish it, right? Because stuff got interrupted.
The whiskey was a sipping drink, and she had only had a couple of sips.
Yeah. I'm actually the one who managed to down because I started at the bar like straight off, and I probably downed at least a standard drink and a half. So I'm probably the most impaired guy there.
And the most heavily armed. It's perfect.
Oh yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Damn straight, this guy packs all the time. He ain't leaving the house without his piece. And his cane is more than it looks. Although you guys haven't seen that yet.
So needless to say, it's still a few minutes before you all make it to Elijah's domicile. Which makes the fact that his phone rings out loud interesting. Because most people unconsciously have gotten into the habit of either lowering their volume or keeping it on silent. You've all been out in the world where you deal with students and upwardly mobile individuals all the time. Everyone's phone is on as low as it will go volume wise or on silent. The fact that his phone rings loud enough, well, would each of you be so kind as to roll your composure and resolve? You need a 3 to not respond by jumping out of your skin.
Okay, well, mine's pretty high.
Wait, did you say either or and?
No, and. Resolve plus
And,
composure,
okay.
yes.
Oh.
You actually gave a DC on this one, right? You said DC 3?
Correct.
And I presume it's reflexive.
Yes.
5. Oh. The driver got the yips.
Alright. Moving at an accelerated rate of speed and jerking in response to a surprising, startling jump scare, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your resolve plus drive as high as you can?
And that one's not reflexive, so willpower can be burned, right?
Yes.
Oh, don't need it.
So, how many of you have played with the very non-fire but still firework the poppers, little small papers wrapped in a little bit of this and that's that when you slam them against something hard, they go off.
Very common Vietnamese party thing.
Okay, so you've played with them, you understand them. This is the effect of sleeping peacefully and having several of them explode against your face. Chia swerves. You all miss the semi that was to your right and easing into her blind spot, but just barely. You're not sure how she keeps you all from winding up underneath the wheels of the semi, but she does. She manages to correct the sway, the swerve, and the rattle before catastrophe strikes. And as you all listen as the semi leans on its air horn and picks up its rate of travel to leave you all in its rear view, you all come close enough that you can tell not only what type of tires that particular semi is using, but the pressure gauge necessary for them to be properly inflated. That's how close to catastrophe you all came.
Immediately, Chia kind of merges towards the shoulder, and there is quite colorful language rolling freely from her mouth in multiple languages.
Don't blame you, but I'm gonna pick up the phone call so it stops ringing. Hello. This is Elijah.
Mr. Abramson, I'm showing you all heading west on 90. I see that you've all made it out of the parking structure. You're not far from where an associate of mine, Mr. Kincaid, is. You all need to get to him as quickly as you can.
Okay. How do we do that?
There's an exit not far from where I'm showing your phone. The 603. You'll take that down 43 and make
I
that.
relay. By the way, I relay all of this. Like I echo it out to the car as soon as I hear it. Like I say, it's Amanda. Follow these directions, and I like everything you say. I echo to the car immediately. Go ahead.
Take the 43 down to Longfellow, and he's at the crime scene there on Chapman. Inform him that you are my associate, and he will get you all safe once he is done there.
Okay. Thank you kindly.
Having managed to pull herself back together and hearing soon as possible, she checks the traffic and pulls back out into the road and starts following the directions. And then she said, did she say crime scene?
Yes.
Levi's gonna check his watch. What time is it?
It is 11:16 on a Monday evening. You have a less than scrupulous business deal that is closing in roughly 10 hours from now. You've even gotten the leave from work, and you've got all of your alibis lined up and in place. Even with Louis going to take the point of it, all of those plans are already set.
Levi is gonna kind of sigh, and but he's not gonna say anything.
We're looking for Mr. Kincaid at the crime scene on it was Longfellow, right?
Yes. Well, Chapman off of Longfellow, but yes.
Yeah. It's okay, Chapman.
And it is exactly of the hour. So let's take a quick 5.5, 10-minute break right here and come back at 11:10. But before we do, everyone, this is our lovely author and player of Jimmy. He is the fourth of our quartet. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and outline your character when either now or when we get back? Jim, you there? Okay.
I think it's going to work when we get back.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take advantage of the 10 minutes quite gladly. Thank you.
All right. So you guys in 10, your quick 10 minutes. See you at 10 after the hour.
Be right back.